body bags, where horror lies.
Hey YouTube, welcome to Body Bags. I'm the Tattooeddoorman. Unfortunately, Monday's host, DJ Boy3275, can't be with us today, so I'm covering his day. And we're going to be looking at a 2013 movie called The Amityville Asylum. Now, The Amityville Asylum is not perfect by any standards at all, and I will talk about that in my thoughts of the movie afterwards. We'll start off with a synopsis. We meet a character called Lisa, and Lisa wants to get a job as a cleaner working at a local asylum. When the interview goes really bad, she thinks she's lost the job. She gets a call from the head of the asylum saying, "Can you start work on Monday?" She can't believe the luck. She thinks, the interview couldn't have gone worse, but they're still giving her a job, so she's happy. She goes to the asylum, and when she starts meeting the people that she's working with, basically most of them are complete bastards. They're a really odd, strange bunch. They have the security guards. One threatens her, another one says that he's going to make sure that she loses her job unless she gives him a blowjob, things like that. So yeah, the people that she's working with, she's doing the night shift, and the people are really vile. But we have a working partner, and I'm sure it was called Dimitri. If I've got that wrong, I'm very sorry, but she works with the head of the cleaning department, and he's a Russian guy. And he comes across as generally a really nice guy and taking Lisa under his wing. He gets to show her the ropes and basically tell her all about the job and the cleaning, and bit by bit he takes her through the hospital, which goes from people who were there, just because they need to be there, going right through to Ward X, where the criminally insane are kept. And he introduces her to the characters in there. You've got a guy that ate people, you've got a witch who was criminally insane, characters like that. And Lisa really doesn't like Ward X because the people in there are just the worst kind of human scum that you can imagine. So she starts working there, she's not really impressed with the people that she works with, but she's getting on with the job. And then she starts seeing things. The first thing she sees is a little girl. So she calls security, and this is what brings her into conflict with security. They can't find this girl. They think, she's making it up and she's just being a pain. The head of the asylum calls her in and says, "What are you doing? You're saying that you're seeing things and they're not there. Are you all right?" kind of thing. And from there, it just kind of gets worse for Lisa. She knows that there's something not quite right about this asylum. She kind of almost does like a Scooby-Doo investigations of her own and starts looking at the background of the asylum. And I shall talk about that in my thoughts afterwards because this actually really confused me. And it turns out that Amityville, the asylum, was built on the old house or should I say, it's on the ground where the old Amityville house stood. So she goes into the whole background of the murders and things like that, and going back to Indians that were slaughtered on the burial ground and places like that. So she actually uncovers more and more about this and makes her wonder that what she's actually seeing is real and that these are actually real spirits and that the Amityville asylum really is haunted. So yeah, it does kind of build up to a climactic sort of finish. If you've all seen the Amityville films, you all know what happens in there. It generally ends up with somebody going mad and killing everybody else. So that is a bit of a spoiler, it is pretty much sticking to the old Amityville story, but instead of it being set in a house, it is set in an asylum. So that is basically your synopsis. Sorry about the spoiler. Now, my thoughts on the film. This was a really strange watch for me because it's basically a whole British cast, and I couldn't get my head around why is this called the Amityville Asylum. It's got nothing to do with Amityville. It's all, English actors and actresses. And when it's actually revealed that the hospital is built on the grounds where the old Amityville house stood, I had to Google, and I found out it is a British director, and he took 11 British male and female actors and actresses across to the States to make the film. So that was really weird. It kind of threw me because I was thinking that, this is a British horror movie, and it's set in America. And they did actually film it in America, which is even stranger. Why the guy just didn't actually hire some local actors and actresses while he was over in the States, I have no idea. Because the English accents really put me off. I couldn't quite, grasp why this was being an American movie filmed in America, but I don't know, really strange. And the other thing that really annoyed me about this movie is when there was any kind of suspenseful moment, if there was any kind of creepy moment, there was like a piano key that was just hitting me like ding, as if to. It was almost like it was pointing out, saying, "This is the creepy bit. Now you've got to pay attention. You've heard the piano key. That's creepy. Have you got that?" And that really began to annoy me. It must have been used 15, 20 or more times, just the same note over and over. Ding! That's the creepy stuff. And that really did get on my nerves, to be honest with you. Why they couldn't have just played a different note or something like that. It just became really repetitive, and I don't know, that kind of annoyed me. So yeah, I think the film itself was probably a really good idea on paper, but the movie itself really wasn't that good, to be honest with you. It did keep me watching to the end. I just wanted to know what happened, but it was basically a remake of the Amityville Horror, but set in a hospital. So there's nothing new, to be honest with you. You know, it's not a greatly different story. So yeah, a little bit disappointed. Unfortunately, I could probably give this a 4, maybe a 4.5 out of 10. The acting itself, at points, you know, it wasn't bad, but there were times where the acting of the script was just so goddamn awful. At one point, one of the security guards sees Lisa nosing about and, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just curious." Good. Stay that way. Well, stay curious. Stay sticking your nose into everything. You're a security guard. What? That makes no sense. Surely you'd be saying, "Well, don't. You know, keep your nose out of everything. It's got nothing to do with you." Yeah, stay curious. No, sorry, the script at times just was awful. As I said, so was the acting. The story was nothing original. But it kept me watching to the end. I just wanted to know what happened. So, yeah, 4 out of 10. Nothing fantastic, to be honest with you. So that's been my review for the Amityville Asylum, the 2013 movie. And as always, thank you very much for watching.
Tune in every day for a new review from Body Bags, where horror lies.